What's up? It's Weekly Metal Reviews. This time we're talking about Whitechapel's new album, Whitechapel. It's a very new release. It's kind of like, I wasn't expecting it to come out this early. But anyway, to get to the point, so when I first popped this, or listened to it, I really didn't know what to think about it. I was very unsure, like, of my whole entire, like, what I think about this album, about the songs. The first thing I'm going to say is, if you haven't watched Count Blagarth's review, I don't know if I said his name right, but go watch it, because I sort of agree with what he says about some of it. Because like, being a Whitechapel fan from This Is Exile, and like watching him grow up to now, it kind of threw me off, because this album is very different. It goes into a different direction. Like he's saying, it's more tame and mellow, and I wouldn't say it's not as heavy, but it's definitely kind of not. It doesn't have all the elements that This Is Exile or New Era of Corruption did. But yeah, like I was saying, it's different. It's something new, and they're doing stuff that they haven't done before. The first song that I fell in love with overall was definitely Faces. That song is just heavy as shit. The very, very first song that caught my attention was I Dementia, the one you hear now. The 226 mark, that is just fucking brutal as hell. But yeah, this album's really slowly growing on me. Like I said, at first I didn't know what to think of it, but like more and more, I'm really starting to like it. Like Count Blagarth said, I feel like there's a lot of lack of blast on this album, and that's like, I love blasting. It's one of my favorite things in death metal or deathcore. I love blasting, and it doesn't have as much as it did say on This Is Exile. But yeah, I feel like the riffing on this album, the whole entire guitar work has improved, I think. Like, I feel like they have more focus on the higher strings. So if you look at like This Is Exile or their debut, you can tell that they're like more focused on the chugging. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's Whitechapel. There's definitely tons of chugging on this album, but like they've really focused on like more of the middle, high-end strings. There's a lot more leads on this album, and that's something I like really enjoy. Like the vocals on this Culturalist, Phil Bozeman, he's like going so fast on that song, it's crazy. And just the way he screams and how much power he has and how fast that goes, it's like really unbelievable. It's almost like he's rapping. Like Tyler said this, I'll let him talk about it more, but there's a lack of highs on this album, I do think. Like Tyler said a few minutes ago, his highs are really good. They're really raspy, not like Chelsea Grin highs, but he has his own style. It's just really good, and it's something that like really adds to the music.
Just hold on to this a little bit. I really have to shit my pants.
Okay,
right now.
Just go shit your pants. Go shit your pants. But yeah, back to the guitar work. I feel the leads on this, they've always had very acute, very like fast leads. Like This Is Exile has a lot of those, and I feel on this one you can tell they matured as guitar players. They're very polished, they're diverse, like you can tell leads are different. They all have their different styles. I just feel overall they renovated their whole entire lead style. The one thing I feel is like the ambient guitar work, like you can tell on This Is Exile, I haven't listened to it in a while, but New Era of Corruption, you can tell that there's a lot of ambient leads, like a lot of studio stuff that you would hear in there. And I feel like that's one thing this album hasn't touched on. Like there is that kind of stuff in here, but there's not as much as there would be on like This Is Exile. Yeah, there's a lot of songs that just start off and blow right in your face. Dead Silence is a good example of that. Just a lead in the beginning, and then it goes into like all that stuff. It explodes. That's one thing I like. But yeah, I'm pretty much gonna let the guys take the rest of this. But yeah, I kind of, to sum up my review, I agree with Count Blagarth to an extent. But the other thing I wanted to mention is the three-guitarist rant. I really don't understand why people say that a band doesn't need three guitarists, because like I was saying in the comments of that other one, on Count Blagarth's review, like there's a perfect example of a band that uses three guitarists, and people shit on bands like Chelsea Grin for it, and they use three guitarists too. But like the most typical thing you would see a three guitarists are using like live is you would see like one playing rhythm, and then there would be two playing like both, one would be playing the lead and one would be playing on the harmony behind it. And you can do so much more with three guitarists. Like you can do stuff in the studio that you wouldn't have to like get a backing track to play live. You can just play with three guitars. And if you put it in that perspective, like a band wouldn't need three guitars to do that. You can pretty much say that a band wouldn't need two guitars either. You know, like I was saying in the comments, it also helps like the science of a band. There's a structure of it. Like I remember Alex Wade in an interview. He said this band, like the band never has a lack of riffs. They always have riffs out the ass because they have three guitar players. And like I was saying, if you play guitar or you know what it is, Tyler, now you're playing by yourself. You can come up with riffs and stuff, and you can write your own songs, like no problem. But if you go with a second guitarist, there's so much more inspiration because you're coming from two different minds and two different creative like ideas are coming at the same time. You get so much more riffs, you get so many more ideas, and you have like two different inspirations coming into one, which creates new ideas. And like if three guitars come in that, there's just an abundance of riffs, so many ideas, and there's so many different directions you can go with a band. And that's just what I have to say about that. Because if you really think that a band doesn't need three guitarists, go listen to bands like Periphery. That's probably the best example I could give you of like a band that uses three guitar players really well. But yeah, I guess Tyler, you can go.
I mean, they're a huge band, but I think Iron Maiden uses three guitars well too. They always harmonize their leads, and then they have someone playing rhythm live. Like, yeah, you can record in a studio and have this harmonized lead and rhythm underneath of it, but then you can't pull it off live like perfectly. Bands like Whitechapel, Periphery, Chelsea Grin, Iron Maiden, they can go pull that off live because they have three guitars. Like maybe a band like Killswitch Engage, you'll be seeing them live and you'll know, oh, this banging harmony's coming up, I can't wait to hear this, and then it's just kind of disappointing because one, they either only play one part, or two, you have to hear a backing track.
Holy Divers, like their cover of that's a perfect example.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't understand the
trend,
the argument, and why people get mad about that. This is just personal opinion, but getting into this album, I listened to this for the first time all the way through, and I really dug it. This wasn't an album where I was like, oh, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I dug it the entire way through. I was like, yeah, this is really different for Whitechapel. They kind of changed some things up, changed their sound a little bit, changed how they used to do things, but I never thought it was really bad. And then I hit the song Faces, and that track just sold me on this album. I was like, damn, that is like one of the best songs on this album, especially when it just gets to that middle part and they just go down, down, down. I sound like a jackass, but once you hear that, I wet myself. I had to go change my pants. The more and more I listen to this album, and I've listened to this album about six times now, I think it is. I've listened to nothing but this album past 24 hours. The more I think this is still a Whitechapel record.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Whitechapel will and always will be deathcore at the core of things. They may change things around. They may be, be less technical, or they may lean a little bit towards more the death metal side, but they're always going to be deathcore at the core of things. No pun intended. I listened to this over and over and over. I'm like, that is still Whitechapel. It still has its technical parts. It still has its leads. It still has its just absolutely chaotic moments that Whitechapel is known for. It still has those brutal fucking lows from Phil Bozeman. Still has some chaotic drumming, and yes, there is a lack of blast, and that is disappointing because I like their blast a lot. Probably one of my favorite examples of their blast is just The Darkest Day, Man. Such a simple riff with a blast behind it. It's just amazing. But because there isn't a lack of blast, that doesn't make me not like this album. I still really, really like this album. And like Zach mentioned, there is a lack of highs. You can hear him every now and then. But Phil has also changed his style a little bit. He does a little bit type of different scream every now and then. But he still has those low guttural lows that are just absolutely amazing. I think he's one of the best vocalists in extreme metal. It's my favorite deathcore by far. This record is just, it's great. And it grows on me too, and I even dug it the first time through. This is just a very addicting release. It still has super great leads, and the leads have become, like Zach said, they just really gotten so much better. This band on this record has gotten so much more mature in their entire writing style, and I really like this album. And I've listened to their past albums to try to find why people think this band is generic, or why people think this band is terrible. It's kind of like when I listened to Shogun by Trivium. I just cannot see any reason at all why this band is generic, or why this band writes bad songs, or something bad. Is this band absolutely 100% perfect? No, they can always improve, as can any band. But I love this band, and this band always pumps me up. I always enjoy listening to them. They're one of my favorite bands, and this is just a very refreshing set of, I believe, like 10 songs. And I've listened to absolute shit out of their past albums, and this is just refreshing. They changed their style up. I mean, the first, like, 4 songs are still kind of technical. I mean, not that the last ones aren't. They still have their technical moments, but, I mean, I don't know. I thoroughly like this album a lot. And
my ass fucking hurts. That's the biggest shit I've ever taken. Only Chinese food. Well, I'm not sure exactly what all these guys said, but from what I heard, they're probably ranting a little bit about something some people have said about the album, and some of the things that I guess are, I don't want to say basic, but really noticeable about it. So, first of all, a lot of people have said this is, from what I've heard, this is groundbreaking, this is new, this defines deathcore in a new way. I don't think so. I think this is Whitechapel. This band is always changing, always progressing, always getting better. You know, you listen to Smack Defilement, you listen to A New Era of Corruption. They progress so fucking much. They went from Smack Defilement, like the highs on This Is Exile, sometimes I don't know, I couldn't listen to them. They're okay, they're good, they're just really old school deathcore highs. And but the highs on this album are so much better. That's what bands do. They go from starting out to being great. I mean, Metallica's first ever song they probably wrote may not have been great, but, well, I don't know. Metallica's an example because we're elitist and such and all that. But, you know, this band progressed a lot. They've gotten from where they started out to where they are now by hard work, dedication, and all that other shit your teachers taught you back in school.
Mr. Wine.
Yeah. But, first of all, I'm going to go through and talk about it a little bit. The vocals, they don't seem, I'm not sure if it's production or something, but the vocals don't seem to be as guttural and like really low as, say, A New Era of Corruption, like, let's just say Devolver. Some of the lows on that got really low.
So like a bubbly throat.
Yeah.
Like deep pathology,
Yeah.
like shit.
I'm not sure if it's like the production or what, but they're still good, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure, this is the sound. But the highs definitely improved. I really like it. The few highs he does. The guitar is heavy as always. I'm drawing a blank, but I know there's some song,
That song.
I don't know, I'm just not going to talk about it because I know there's this one really fucking heavy part, and that's not really helping my case because it's all heavy. But this album so far has to be very, very, very melodic. The leads just give me a boner. The riffs are always. This band is a riff band. They renamed their band Whitechapel. Their breakdowns. I think, you think breakdowns, they're fillers for bands that are unoriginal. They just want something to throw in there. I think this band uses them as a form of art. They're not just a throw it in there, dun, 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 breakdown or anything like that. They're well thought out. They're sometimes melodic. They have well-placed leads over them. They're very structurally fit together to match the rest of the song and to give it an extra a good feeling to it. It's not just to throw it in there to fill it. They use it in a way that really complements the rest of the song. And like I said, it's not just deathcore. It's still deathcore, but it's not just a deathcore breakdown, not just a deathcore band, not just deathcore riffs. It's very progressed and well thought out. These guys are very, very, very talented, as you can tell. Because I know these two play guitar and everything. Like I heard them talking, like just trying to play Possession is like, what the fuck? So this band definitely has some talent. And that's from This Is Exile, but still, this band does have a lot of talent, creativity, and they really put a lot of work into making their songs not just simple, simple is still good sometimes, but very, very, like an art form, I would say. Not everyone can paint. These guys can, some people can paint, some people can't, some people can come up with just these amazing riffs and things you would never think of that sound so amazing off the top of their head. Some people can't. These guys can. The drums. Ben, I'm sorry if I've really tried to find how to pronounce his name, but I'm going to go with Harselroad, their new drummer.
That's right.
Oh, it is?
No, I don't think it is.
Oh, Harselroad or something.
Knights of the Abyss drummer.
His drums are so, I don't know, they can be aggressive, they can be slow, bottom line, are so, they just complement the riffs like in Hate Creation. They just fit the music. They go so well with the music. It's like fries with a burger. It's like, they just go so well and like...
Dick and pussy.
Yeah. And I think he's way better. No offense. I love this guy, but Kevin Lane doesn't have shit on this guy.
Yeah, this guy can actually do double bass.
I think, for one, piano is just an amazing touch. It gives a great feeling to the beginning of the album, and just make it as a whole at the end of the album, just to bring it all in, and an instrumental.
I forgot to mention, what were you about to say? The instrumental.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and say what you were going to say,
Like
because I probably agree with
all
you.
of us love the instrumental. It's just such a great compliment.
You can explain that.
But I'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm just saying the piano is an amazing touch. Even though it's not metal. So, Beethoven, one of the most amazing musicians of all time, the most brilliant guy. I don't know, he play his shit on the piano. Yeah.
They said if he'd be around today, he'd be playing with some guitars.
Yeah. He could be in Whitechapel.
Yeah. 8-string that shit.
Like 52 string. But yeah, the piano is just an amazing touch. It's a great feeling. I'm pretty sure these guys touched on the subject of three-guitarists aren't a bad thing. Have you?
Yeah, we read about that.
What they say. I honestly really dig this album. I'll say this way again now. I've been a fan of this band since I discovered them, and I've deeply loved every album, and I love this one. I'm not just going to be one of those people that, I hate this album. This album, I can't like this and I can't like that one. I'm going to contradict myself on this thing and that thing, and I'm going to say I hate this, but I like it. Then I'm going to say I like it, then I hate it. I've been a fan of this band ever since I found them, and I've liked everything. And this does not change my opinion. I still think they're an amazing band. I'm not just going to jump on the bandwagon. Like like some people I know. Yeah, to round everything up, I think The Night Remains and Devoid are some of the two of the best tracks I've heard on here. Also, just to throw in there, I love the really rockish, like rock and roll riff of Possibilities of an Impossible Existence. It's really sexy. Just a couple things. Culturalist, it's a really fucking groovy song. They have a lot of groove on this album too. What else do I say? The lyrics. Oh, the lyrics. Oh, Phil Bozeman. He's the closest thing. It's ironic, but he's the closest thing to a god there is. But yeah, I think Devoid is one of the best instrumentals ever written. I'm glad they went back to writing instrumental after This Is Exile, because Of Legions and
Death
Becomes
Becomes
Him. Yeah. Those are some pretty, even though Of Legions was just kind of like a breakdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
Still,
Death
Still the
Becomes Him
catchiest
still-
breakdown I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I always love how they did that, because like a lot of bands just skip over that now. They don't do anything special with their albums. Not saying their albums that makes them bad. I'm just saying like having instrumentals on your albums just makes it it gives it such a great compliment. That's one thing I always enjoyed about Whitechapel.
Yeah. It shows a lot of musicianship. Not that they just write heavy shit and we're gonna punch you in the face the whole time.
Not that like people have to shit on it. Whitechapel on their first album having like deathcore lyrics and like deathcore breakdowns, and then like kids in mesh shorts are stoked or some like dumbass comment about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel the instrumental shows great musicianship, a lot of talent. I'm gonna start hurrying this up a little bit because this is getting very long. If you watched till this point, thank you very much. But yeah, I think the instrumental just throws a lot of good talent at you. I think this album it's not a change for the band, it's a progression for the band. It just shows where they can go. Like, I don't think it's as much of a change. The production is a little different. They're throwing a lot of creativity at you, not that they haven't done that before. I don't think this is generic at all. I really like this whole album. Production is very solid though. Mark Lewis has done a great job on this. Last but not least, I'll say I'll rate this very evenly with the New Era Corruption. I like both of those albums very, 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 very much. They're probably they're my two favorite. But to sum it up, I'm gonna say it's Whitechapel. It's always changing, they're always changing, always progressing, and always good.
Ratings? This is a long video. We just had a lot to say.
9 out of 10.
Thank you for watching.
9 out of 10.
8.75, 3 out of 10.
I'll have to listen to it a lot more when it comes out, but I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Buy this album.
a TP production.
Watch it. Buy this album. Comes out June 19th, Metal Blade Records. Thank you.